Hi, I'm Greg Perry. I'm the office manager at KCBX Public Radio, and this is going to be a short tutorial on how to use our pledge system. This is the system you'll be using as a volunteer to log pledges from donors who are calling during pledge drive. The first thing that happens when you arrive for your shift is you get logged into the system with your first and last name. You may find that you get logged out of the system. Either it times out on you or you accidentally log yourself out, and there's a couple of ways to do that accidentally. If you encounter this screen, just log back in with your first and last name and click the login button. So each screen has a yellow box on the left, and this is going to be your instructions and your script. Your script is going to be in the blue text. And obviously you can't read the instructions while you're taking a pledge, so you need to be familiar with them. You're welcome to go through this a couple times in a test using a test record, and we'll help you do that. But this is also printed out in the volunteer guide, which hopefully you have a link to as well. So the first thing we want to do when we're taking a pledge, once we answer the phone, is ask the donor if they're calling to make a pledge. If they are, we start by searching their last name. We always search the last name, even if they've told us that they've never made a pledge. A lot of people forget that they've made pledges in the past, so it's better for us if we find that old record rather than create a duplicate record. So we're going to use the very first field on this page called last name and search by their last name. Now I have some test records in here, and the last names all start with test. So I'm just going to put the word test in the last name and then click on last name search. Now we've gotten a number of results. This isn't too bad, but a name like Smith will return hundreds of results. We have over 60,000 donor records in our system. So if you've gotten a list that's unmanageable, I'm just going to click Start over here at the bottom of the list. You can filter your list down by putting after the first name the first initial or first name of the person. So let's say I'm looking for Dan Test. I can simply search Test, D, and it should return just Dan Tester. Notice that the test, the last name Test, returns any last names that begin with TEST. Once you've gotten to this screen, you'll want to verify their street address, and I usually ask them for that information, and once they've done that, I can read back the phone number and the email address. We want to make sure this information is all correct and complete. If you don't have a phone number and or an email address, ask them if they can provide it. If they agree to that, click the edit button to the left of their name, which will take you into the edit screen for this donor. You can change their name, you can add a spouse, you can adjust, correct any address issues, phone numbers, email address is here. We don't worry about the birthday, we're not using that. We're not going to ask for a spouse name unless we're sure that they're married and they've indicated that a spouse is involved in this pledge. Otherwise, just don't ask that question. And at the bottom of this is the question, which frequency do you listen to us on? If they know, or choose the city that they live in or where they listen to us. Click Update Donor at the bottom once you're done making your corrections. And this will take you directly into the pledge system. So if you've searched for a donor and you can't find them in the database and they say they haven't made a pledge before, they are probably a new donor. So on this screen, just below where the search fields are, you'll see you can add a new donor. So if this was Sally Test, her address, Main Street, San Luis Obispo, California, 93401. We like to get phone number, although it's not required on this form. We like to get email, so Sally at charter.net. We don't typically ask for birthday. Again, we don't ask about a spouse name unless they volunteer that information. And we select the frequency they listen to KCBX on. Click Next. If you see this screen, this is an attempt by the system to standardize the address. And most likely, it's not taking it because I made this address up. So you can either make your corrections if you've made a mistake on the address and click Try to Standardize again. Otherwise, if it is correct and you verified it with the donor, just use the address as is. And that takes you right into the pledge system again, just as before. Now you'll see at the top here, Dan, and Dan's record has been selected. Again, on the left, you have a yellow box. This is your instructions, a little bit of script here. Our script on this page is, would you like to make a monthly pledge or a one-time gift? So before we get to that point, let's look at this. Just below Dan's information, we see currently open pledges. Now, Dan has already made a pledge. Now, this could be Dan's spouse that called. If Dan had a spouse on this record, she could have already called in because this just happened. So somebody called in and made a $52 pledge, a one-time pledge, payment with a check, and it hasn't been paid over here on the right. So we want to make Dan aware of this information. So this may end the call rather quickly, or Dan's aware of this and they want to do an additional pledge or increase the pledge, which is perfectly fine. A lot of people do that so that they can qualify for a premium that they maybe heard on the radio. So after we've addressed this existing pledge information, should it exist, we're going to ask them if they're making a monthly pledge or a one-time pledge. The left side of this screen here is for a monthly pledge. That's this area over here. That means they're going to pay a certain amount every month. For instance, they may want to pay us, do a $120 pledge, but they can only afford to do $10 a month. And that's perfectly fine. So you're going to put $10 in the pledge amount. All right? On the right-hand side, if they want to do $120 and they want to pay it all off right now, you're just going to put 120. Whoops, 120. You don't need the decimal places. All right. Now you're only going to do one or the other side. You're not going to do both. So I'm going to consider this a monthly pledge. So this is a monthly pledge for $10 a month. We'll continue with this. Payment type is the same on both sides. Credit card or debit. If you click this field, you'll see an option for electronic funds transfer from your bank. That's for checking or savings, or cash and check, cash or check. By far, credit or debit card is going to be the most popular. Then cash or check if they want to mail their check in or they want an invoice before they pay. That's the second most popular. Electronic funds transfer, you won't get too many of these, if any. But let's take a look at that. So we're going to select electronic funds transfer. We're going to have an add button here. Once we click that button, it's going to ask us for the transit number. It's going to ask us for the account number, the name on the check, and whether it's checking or savings. So the donor is going to need to know their routing number or their transit number. It's the same thing. If they don't know that information, don't do this. Go ahead and take a regular cash check payment and we'll sort it out in the end. The amount's going to remain zero because we're just validating this account, and then you would click save when this information's entered. I'm going to close this tab. The other option, credit or debit card, kind of the same thing. We're going to do add edit credit card. We're going to get a window here. Whoops. We're going to get a window that asks us for the card number, expiration date, name on card, and again, the amount remains zero. This is just a validation step. Once you click save, it will say validating in this area at the bottom. And when it's validated, this window will close and you will see where it says credit card here, you'll see the last four of their credit card and their expiration date. And that's an indication that it's been accepted. You may say card did not validate here, in which case you'll want to hit the add button again and try it again in case you got the number wrong. All right, so assuming we have the credit card entered correctly, we have an option to make first gift now, which would make it on today's date for this first $10, and then choose when their next payment will happen. You'll get more instructions about this when you arrive to your shift. This may be checked automatically to make first gift now, depending on the date of the pledge drive. In this case, we'll just we'll leave it selected, and so they'll make a payment today, and then they'll make their next payment on October 15th. If this were a one-time pledge, I would put 120 in here. I would again select credit card or debit card or the same payment options, click add edit, and you'll notice that make first gift now is checked because this will be paid in full. Once you've got either side completed, let me get rid of this. In this case, we're not going to use a credit card since we don't have a credit card, so I'm going to change this to cash check, and click continue down below. Now this means that they'll receive an invoice from us asking for their first $10 payment. The next screen, again, here's your yellow volunteer box. We like to ask, would you like to receive your gift receipt by email? We are trying to get everyone on electronic mail as much as possible. You'll find the link here, Update Communication Preferences. And when you click that, you're going to want this email address. Most likely, this is the email that they're going to want to use. So a trick is to copy this first, then click Update Communication Preferences. Plug that. I've already got mine set here, but you would put the email address in this field, choose email only from the format, and then click save. Once it's saved, you will need to close this window to go back to this screen. So we've just updated the preferences so Dan will receive email communications with us, and we won't send hard copies in the mail. At this point, you can tell the donor that they're making a monthly pledge of $10, which will continue for 12 months. Any monthly pledges that you enter are considered 12 months of payments, and then they will stop. When it's a monthly payment, we like to ask, Would you like your payments to continue as a sustaining subscriber? Sustaining subscribers are those that continue beyond 12 months. Basically, that $10 is charged every month until the donor tells us to stop. This is the best thing for KCBX. This ensures that this donation will continue, that the donor won't forget about us, and they don't have to think about calling us during pledge drive. So if this again is a monthly payment amount, we would like you to ask, would you like the payments to continue as a sustaining subscriber? Now, if they say yes, down below on the bottom of the screen, there's a notes field. It's going to show a volunteer and your name. And there's reminders everywhere on this page. So if they say they want to do the sustaining, you're simply going to type sustaining in that notes field. Just the word sustaining. And that's going to tell us that you asked the question and that they said yes. And we will take care of it from there. So if they say no, there's nothing to do. You don't have to put anything in the notes. You're pretty much done. Now, one thing we haven't talked about is premiums. It's important to know that we do not push the premiums. We let the donors ask for them. We have a very limited number of premiums, so we try to make them last throughout the entire pledge drive. And we like the premiums to go to those people that need that motivation to make the pledge. We don't make people feel bad about getting premiums. We're happy to do it. In most cases, the premiums don't cost us a thing. But we do want it to go to the people that really need them. So we don't bring premiums up unless it's brought up by the donor. So let's say that the donor has mentioned premiums. There's two types of premiums. There's a standard premium and there's a special premium. The standard premiums are those premiums that we carry all the time, that are always available. Those are things like the KCBX branded license plate frame, the mug, the baseball cap that we always have, sunshade. These are the things that are branded with the KCBX logo that we just order as we need them. So they never really run out of stock. You'll find those premiums in this box here below where it says select a gift to receive. So I'm going to click that, and you'll see so the ceramic mug, you'll see the KCBX canvas tote bag, the 2-panel sunshade. You won't see anything in this list that this donor doesn't qualify based on their donation. So this donation is a $120 donation. So they qualify for everything in this list. You also see in this list CDs. And these are only going to be offered when the show host, for instance, Neil Losi during Morning Cup, offers to give away CDs. So your staff will help you and tell you which of these to choose. But when you do choose a CD, for instance, this one here, it says put fave genre in notes. So if you choose this CD, just in the notes here, ask them what they like. Put jazz, put easy listening, put Americana, and Neil will choose a CD for them. In these others, for instance, it might be this special recording CD. Neil's going to have these CDs in the studio, and he'll bring them out to the volunteers, and you'll know exactly what this is. So if the CD he brings out is the best of Count Basie, we just want you to put the title in the notes. Best of Count Basie. Now, the other category of premiums are our special premiums. The special premiums are those items that are donated to the station by individuals and businesses to give away as gifts. We don't pay for these. The businesses do it solely to help the station raise funds and to get a little recognition on the air. So things like wine, wine tours, restaurant tickets, show tickets are all available at a certain minimum pledge. When you come into the station to do your volunteering, we'll show you the special premium cards with all the donated items. But when somebody calls and asks you for one of those special premiums that they heard on air, you'll find that special premium card, and on that card will be a special premium code. That code will go in the notes field, and it's simply a 5-digit code such as 189345. And that's going to tell us that they want that premium. We will have in this, we may have in this drop down a selection for special premium, which we don't have now, but we're considering doing that. So we'll let you know about that. But this is really important down here to have this number. In addition to that, a lot of our special premiums can be mailed. It may be a certificate for dinner for two. It may be a coupon for a percentage off an item. In any event, we need to know whether or not we should mail that to them or they can come and pick it up. And it's simply the word mail in the notes next to the premium number or pick up. Some items can't be picked up. We don't ship, some items can't be mailed, pardon me. We don't ship wine, we don't ship liquids, we don't ship overly heavy things because that becomes expensive. So look for notes on the card, and we'll show you more when you come in for your shift. So other than that, so I'm just going to put they are going to have this mailed to them. Once you've got that sorted, you've asked them about sustaining, you've discussed the premium, you've asked them if they can pick up the premium or if they need it mailed. You're done with the pledge. At this point, you're simply going to submit gift pledge information. You'll come to this screen, which has just an overview of what happened. You can thank them for their pledge and their support, and you're done. You can hang up the phone, and you're going to write, there's a reminder over here, to write the donor's name on the top of the special premium card. And again, we'll go over that with you when you arrive for your shift. Last thing to do is click on this bottom link, return to Share-a-thon survey, and you're back at the search fields. So that's it for data entry. At this point, you'll arrive for your shift and we'll show you how to use the phones. We'll show you the special premium board and answer any other questions you have if this is your first time. There's lots of friendly people, other volunteers to help out. So we look forward to meeting you. And again, thank you so much for taking this time out to spend with us during Pledge Drive. We'll see you soon. Thanks.